Hey there, brother friends and sister friends. Welcome back to the Heart Set Above podcast in our Nearness series. In our previous episodes, we've talked about some practicals for carving out time and space both in our inner worlds and our outer worlds to make space for nearness to God. But we can't just stop at clearing out space in our lives and our hearts. We have to fill that space up with something. Because just like Jesus taught in Matthew 12, it's not enough to simply clear out the space. When a house is swept clean but left empty, it doesn't stay empty for long. Something else will come along and fill it. And the same is true for us. If we don't fill the space that we've made with a presence stronger than the pulls of this world, then fear and distraction or anxiety will creep back in. That's why we don't prune our schedules and our hearts just to binge Netflix or scroll Instagram. Those things may help us to relax in the moment, and believe me, I love them too, but they don't restore us. They don't fill our souls. True restoration comes when we fill that margin with what actually nourishes God's presence, His word, His people, and the life-giving practices that draw us back to Him. And one of the most meaningful ways that I've found to do this is through visualization. Let me share two simple visuals that I use in my own life and that I've shared with many clients over the years. These resonate deeply with me, but they may not be a perfect fit for you, and that's okay. Take them as a starting point and feel free to tweak them so that they connect with your own heart and imagination. The first visual that I often use is when I feel really overwhelmed or anxious in life. I picture myself sitting in this kind of white, ethereal room. God is sitting across from me, kind of crisscross, knees bent, and He's so big compared to me that I often don't even see His face. I come up to about His knee. And sitting there between us is a pile of my worries on the floor. Now, this pile isn't just vague stress. It's made up of words and phrases, my actual fears stacked on top of each other. At the very bottom are the heavy, immovable ones, right? The core fears that never fully go away. Things like, what if my husband dies unexpectedly? What if my children get really sick? Those live deep at the bottom of this fear pile. And above those are the longer term worries. Things like, what if I lose my job? What if we struggle financially? And at the very top are the small daily anxieties, the ones that flutter through my mind all throughout the day, right? Things like, is she mad at me? Am I a good enough mom? How's my child doing in reading? Or what if I don't do well on that test coming up? So I sit there in this room with God looking at this pile, and I slow my breathing down. I do a little breathing exercise to slow my mind and my heart. And then I start to process one worry at a time. I pick one worry off the top of that worry pile and I breathe it in one at a time. And as I inhale, I let it wash over me. I feel all the what ifs and the if onlys attached to that fear. I let myself feel the full weight of it. Then when I exhale, I breathe it all the way out. Like, have you ever seen that scene in Spider-Man where he's trying to pull that Venom suit off of him, that black suit with all of his might? Kind of like that, right? It takes some effort, but I pull it all out of me, making sure every crevice of it leaves my body. And when it's out, I place it into God's hands where it belongs. And then I move on to the next one. I inhale the next fear, feel the full weight of it, let it take over my body, and then exhale it in surrender and give it to God. And every time I do this, I'm reminded the power doesn't belong on my shoulders. It belongs in His hands. My only role is to stay connected to Him, to keep releasing what was never mine to carry. I can't tell you how often this resets me, how it clears the fog, lowers the panic, and helps me breathe again. Not forever. Many times I find myself back with those same worries sitting on top of the pile the very next day. But the goal isn't to erase those fears forever. The goal is to connect with God in them every single time that they pop up. To practice surrender again and again whenever something finds its way to the top of that pile. So that's how I work through some fear and anxiety in my own life. The second visualization that I often use in times of intentional connection with God is picturing myself standing on a hill in the Jewish countryside. The sun is setting behind me. I don't know why that's always the image. It's just kind of what comes to mind. And there in front of me is Jesus. Now, He's not speaking. He's not asking anything of me. He's just looking at me. And his eyes are ablaze with love and adoration. They're filled with compassion, with knowing, with the gaze of El Roy, the God who really sees me. And in that moment, I don't try to offer anything back. I don't try to earn the look in his eyes. And I don't shrink away from it. I just let him look at me. I let that immense, unconditional love wash over me. I let the reality of being fully seen and fully known and loved by God simply be. And then I intentionally live in that reality. This helps me to reset, to stop striving, to stop hustling for worth or scrambling to cover my flaws. It anchors me in the truth that nearness to God isn't something I earn, it's something I'm freely given. So, with these visuals in mind, let me give you a little exercise that you can try in your next quiet time to sit in God's presence and be near to Him. The first step is to put your Bible and your journal away. Sacrilege, I know. Those are not bad things, but they are agents of doing. And we are striving to be. So put the Bible and the journal away just this time. The second step is to slow down your body. Maybe take a few deep breaths to calm your heart or play some music that helps soften and open your spirit. Then we want to get really still. Sit quietly and intentionally acknowledge that you are in the presence of the Lord Most High. And then envision his gaze. Picture God seeing you, like really seeing you, Elroy style, and still loving you completely. And then just be. Don't rush to pray the right words or produce any insight. Simply let yourself be seen by him and be with him. It may feel uncomfortable at first. That's normal. But this is the work of drawing near to God, practicing his presence until it becomes the most natural part of your day.